Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions.
That cover's so awesome.
This is Mr. Chris Claremont, a legend.
Melanie goes,
Tired.
how's it going, all you Minties? This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And today, I'm going to be doing an overview of the Nemesis the Warlock, the Definitive Edition, Volume 1. We're going to be looking at both formats that you can get them in from 2000 AD. So, stay tuned. And welcome back, everybody. Now, before getting started, I do want to thank the kind folks at 2000 AD for sending us copies of these books. And these books are already available everywhere. If you want the hardcover, I'll leave a link in the description of the video where you can get it. That's only available through the 2000 AD Rebellion shop. And the Definitive Edition, the softcover, is available everywhere. The first thing I want to do is talk about the size of these books. So to kind of give you an idea, this is a Marvel Omnibus compared to the size of the Definitive Edition. And it's the same thing, right? They're the same dimensions. The paper trim size is the same. It's just that this one's a little taller because it's in hardcover format. But this is the way that it looks compared to these big editions. The softcover has this beautiful picture here by Kevin O'Neill and just features the character of Nemesis the Warlock. While over here in the hardcover, I love this gold foil stamp right there of Sai Semper Torquemada, which is the oath that they live by, is printed here. Be pure, be vigilant, behave. Sai Semper Torquemada, who's the main antagonist of the story, and he has a really interesting background. So, I'm sorry, I wanted to focus on this. So you have the Definitive Edition, Nemesis the Warlock, all this in a gold foil stamp. And you have Mills, O'Neill, and Redondo, and then Volume 1 right there, 2000 AD logo. And then back here, again. Oh, and there he is, Torquemada. Torquemada, I think is how you pronounce it, because I forgot he was a Spanish inquisitor. And then let's look at the designs of the softcover here. So you have 2000 AD Definitive Edition, Nemesis the Warlock Volume 1, Pat Mills, Kevin O'Neill, Jesus Redondo, hellish tablatures of violence and grim humor, the Comics Journal. So there's a little blurb there, and this is what the spine looks like, the Definitive Edition, Nemesis the Warlock, the World of Termite. That's what Volume 1 is called. Mills, O'Neill, and Redondo 1, and the 2000 AD logo. And then the back of the book, The Darkness Has a New Champion. And some more praise for Kevin O'Neill. Wow. Alan Moore. Now, Alan Moore did love Kevin O'Neill. And just a little bit about what this is. But I will tell you, having never read this, I was not prepared for the type of stories found in here. And I can't wait to talk about it when we open up the book and look at this artwork. And I mentioned earlier that the hardcover is available only through their website. That one is $37.99, while the softcover here that's available everywhere, that one is $25.95. So it really depends on what your cup of tea is, or how much room you have. So we'll be looking internally at this. I've read it cover to cover, and like I said, I found it really interesting, so I can't wait to talk about it. And then we'll do a little bit of a comparison between the internal artwork, like the paper stock that they use, and of course the binding. Actually, before we get these open, I wanted to talk about these two books really quick. This is the Strontium Dog hardcover collection, Search and Destroy, Volumes 1 and 2. And it looks like they're publishing them kind of like Nemesis the Warlock, and I think they're also doing a Slain collection. But these, here, let's get this out of the way really quick, and then we'll get these open. These two hardcovers are already available. I'm not sure how many they're going to be, but what I would love to do is read these, kind of like I've been doing my Judge Dredd Case Files readathon, and just showcasing my experience on the channel, talking about reading these stories for the first time. This is, of course, Strontium Dog, a character that has appeared in Judge Dredd, and my buddy Super Laughheart has sent me a few of his books, and I've only read a few of his adventures, and I believe these are the ones that are collected in chronological order. So these are already available. I'll probably wait for a couple more volumes to come out, and then I can do like a video on my experience reading it for the first time. John Wagner, Carlos Esquera, of course, creators of Judge Dredd, and then you have John Wagner, Alan Grant, and Carlos Esquera over here with Volume 2. No dust jacket, just art on board, and some black and white, and some color pages all collected in here. So that is the Strontium Dog. All right, now we'll look at the hardcover, crack this open, and look at this artwork and talk about this story. Okay, let's go ahead and get this book opened. The end sheets are the freaking Blitz Spear. That is so awesome. So you do have concept art and character designs through here. Credo, which I thought was the only thing Nemesis was going to say, and I never thought we'd ever see him. But then again, maybe I thought we were. Here's your table of contents where you're going to find each of these particular stories, when they were originally published, and what progs you can find them in. And again, more character designs of actual Nemesis here. And then you have the sketches here of the Blitzspear. And then you actually have some sketches of the Terminator sketches here, like this guy, this police outrider, which became this. So it all kicks off with the 2000 AD Prog 167, printed in July 5th, 1980. Also collected in here are material from Prog 178 and 179, the Prague Special from 1981, 222 to 233, 238 through 240, 234 to 244, and the 245 through 257, because these are broken down by different books, as you saw here at the beginning. So you have book 1, book 2, and then the other stories that kicked it off. So I'm wondering if maybe previously they had collected them by books, like book 1 and book 2. So yes, 246 to 257, the 2000 AD annual 1983, and annual 1984. So what in the world is this? Oh, 176 pages, by the way. What in the world is Nemesis? My experience with Nemesis is a lot different than I'm sure most people that have already purchased this book. My experience with Nemesis is I hadn't read a single thing about it. I had heard about the character. I've seen some artwork. I may have read a story here and there, but I did not know what to expect. So it all started with this Prog in 1980. Progs, by the way, are the magazines, and it's an anthology magazine where you're going to find Judge Dredd and where you're going to find other 2000 AD stories. So they're only about 4 to 6 pages long each, and it all starts with this DJ right here, like a radio DJ talking about the traffic in this particular world, and we are introduced to these Terminators, and all these people live in this planet called Termite, and that is not like the animal, it's termite, like Termight. And they're all being ruled by this guy named Torquemada, or who is the Torquemada? We're not really sure at the beginning here. It really felt like a pilot to like a DJ type of story, like a radio DJ type of story, and maybe that didn't take off. I don't know. I don't know the background story behind how all this got made. But they were all after this character named Nemesis, and we never see Nemesis. We just see his ship, and then we see the words Credo. All right, so that's the first story. Like, we're introduced to this character in this particular world where Torquemada is ruling over them, and then we get a little bit more information in the next story. Now we've come to learn that humans have pretty much gotten rid of all of the alien races, or they're trying to get rid of these alien races, and all being led by Torquemada, who dresses like a Spanish inquisitor mixed with somebody that runs the KKK, which, as a matter of fact, a lot of that came from the inspiration of the Catholic, what were they called? Oh, my buddy Father Frank would be upset with me. I cannot remember the name of their outfits, but a lot of the religious inspiration is used on the villains in this book, because I think Kevin O'Neill had the idea, okay, if we're going to have Nemesis be a warlock, then of course their antagonist has to be a religious group. It has to be like a church. And it feels like that, but at times it feels like they themselves are warlocks and in a weird cult, and leading people into their demise. It's such a weird and interesting story. All right, so the more you read, the more you find out that what Nemesis is he is well, they consider him a terrorist. He's standing up against the Torquemada and all of his people. He wants to free all these alien races, and he's an alien being that drives or flies around in this beautiful spaceship, which we saw here, the Blitzspear. and you'll see in just about every issue. And you don't even see him until this particular prog right here, the Sword of Sinister, which is actually the origin story that Torquemada is telling these kids. Oh no, I'm sorry. These slaves right here, these alien slaves. The elder slave is telling them the origin of this particular character named Ulrich, who is going after the sword. The Torquemada send him after the sword, and once he achieves the sword, after years and years of battling and trying to get it, well, it turns out that Nemesis takes the sword from him and kills him. Now, you don't hear Nemesis talk yet, but you finally get to see him outside of his spaceship in this flashback. So now some things are starting to make sense. Okay, so this guy is the leader of a revolution. This guy is an alien himself, and you don't see the warlock powers yet. Well, that comes to play a little bit later. So what you're really seeing here is the origin story of Nemesis the Warlock told through the eyes of his antagonist and all the Terminators and all these people that are going after him. Eventually, what happens is that Nemesis ends up wrecking on this planet that's inhabited by humans, and they end up taking him and hanging him. This is when things take a turn. This is when things get interesting, because this right here, after he's being hung here, there's a whole curse on all the people that did that to him. Well, finally, we get a story where he starts talking. Now, he escapes there, and then in the next story arc, right here, Nemesis the Warlock, this is Brother Gogol, who plays a part in some of these early stories. I don't know if he's still in it later on. But we do have like a bounty hunter going after him, and what ends up happening is that Nemesis enters his house and says that, I need a double agent. I need my people that are slaved to be free. And for the first time, we actually see him talking. He's not just this figure. He's not just inside of a spaceship. He's not just saying credo. He actually talks. And he tells this guy that he needs to free all of the people that have been enslaved, all of the alien races. And this is when we hear this really creepy speech. I am the Nemesis, I am the Warlock, I am the shape of the things to come, the Lord of the Flies, holder of the Sword of Sinister, which is the sword that Oleg got him. The Deathbringer, I am the one who waits on the edge of your dreams. I am all these things and many more. Dang. And then the next issue is, or the next prog, sorry, is about Uncle Ball. So now we finally start to see the warlock aspect of this character, because he comes in here and asking Uncle Ball for a special dimension portal potion that he needs. So they're dealing with magic. And basically what this is this big struggle between Torquemada and the character of Nemesis, who's this reptilian. I don't really know his origin yet. But he does talk about having a family. That's been hinted through here. He does have a wife and a kid, or maybe something happened to them. Torquemada has the ability to die and put himself, sometimes it's really interesting how far advanced these stories were, put himself inside of other aliens or other humans. So like his soul is being recorded through a phone line at one point, and now he has the ability to transport his soul into different bodies, and it's this eternal struggle between these two characters of Torquemada and Nemesis. At first, I thought Nemesis was the character of Torquemada, because we didn't really see Nemesis until, like I said, about the fourth or fifth prog, and we didn't really hear him talk. But that's what's collected in here. That's the story of the Terror Tube, the Killer Watt, the Sword Sinister, the World of Termite, which is this planet, the Alien Alliance, which is book 1, and then book 2 is The Secret Life of Blitzspear, which really goes into territories I wasn't expecting it to. And I can see why people really enjoyed this series. And one of my favorite things was just how comfortable Kevin O'Neill got, from the beginning to drawing all these crazy alien races later on. I loved it. And then, of course, we have Redondo coming in through these pages right here with his own style. But just the amount of detail, and I don't know what happened. I don't know why Kevin O'Neill ended up leaving the book. Maybe he was, well, no, League didn't happen until a little bit later. I don't know. Maybe he was contracted to do other stuff. But I love the alien races that he created through here, and the amount of detail that went into each of these panels is just insane. Redondo did a wonderful job too, and don't get me wrong. He did a wonderful job taking over. This is the family of Tomas de Torquemada, apparently based on a real Spanish Inquisition person. And this is his family. So they're like little pinups like that. So all of the stories collected in here are done in black and white. There are no color stories. The only color you get in here are either the pinups or some of the covers of the 2000 AD covers. So you have pinups like this. And then, of course, the extras are the sketches, including the original sketch here for the character of Nemesis. I guess that's the way he was originally supposed to look. Then some more pinups, and then the bio on these wonderful people, including Kevin O'Neill, who we lost last year. What I wanted to do is talk about the binding here. So the hardcover has sewn binding. It's a lot of glue. So the hardcover has sewn binding. A little bit of excess glue down there. But let's look here, right here. So you do have just a little bit of gutter loss. Not much, just a little bit. But I wanted to compare what it looked like when you have the soft cover here. It's a little bit lighter for one thing. And you still have this. And the paper stock. It's the other thing I wanted to look at. Paper stock seems to be this really thick matte paper that they're using for both versions, honestly. And it seems to be the same kind of paper. Maybe it's just a little bit lighter over here in the trade paperback printing, but it doesn't affect the black and whites. It doesn't affect the contrast any. There's no bleed through really, especially on like light pages. Matte paper in the, honestly, it feels the same. I'm not a paper expert, but it feels the same, like the same thickness, the same kind of quality, the same paper stock. It seems like they're using for both of these. Yeah. But let's compare one of the color pages here, one of the color covers, to see the differences in the colors. No, I don't see a difference in the colors. It looks identical. I mean, the same page count and everything, 176 pages, just like this book over here. Except your end sheets are, of course, a little bit different. And that's where you're going to find this. And then this on the actual back of the backboard there. But that is it. That, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing this particular book, don't forget to check out our sponsors.
If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying these books, definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices, flat shipping rate of €12 for all EU countries, emails answered within 24 hours, waltscomicshop.com, and you can use the code nearmintcondition at checkout and get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order over €40. That's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ding!
cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the content and page count and build of both of these editions. Let me know in the comments down below if you plan on picking it up, if you've never read Nemesis the Warlock, or if you're a huge fan of Nemesis the Warlock and you've been waiting for the latest edition that has the comprehensive reading order. And what your just out of curiosity, what your favorite Nemesis the Warlock story was. So I'm all new to this, so this has been a wonderful read. But that's it, everybody. If you have any questions, leave them down below, because if I can't answer it, believe me, I have a lot of experts that watch my show that can answer them for you. Much love.